This is Super Yacht News with Suleiman. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so we've got some more news about Mr. Suleiman Kerimov. Now, he is was the alleged owner of motor yacht Amadea. Obviously, that whole court case was about the fact that he owned it. The US government says he owns it. He denied that, and that we know what's happened there, right? The boat is now flying a US flag and it's sitting in San Diego. But the US government, it seems, are not done with Mr. Kerimov, and they have frozen a trust, a US-based trust called the Heritage Trust, based in Delaware. And they've frozen this trust because they say that it belongs to him. And as of the 30th of June, the Heritage Trust held assets valued at over $1 billion US. So this action, this is right from the US government website, the US Department of the Treasury, or US Department of the Treasury. And it says that the action ensures that the assets remain blocked and inaccessible to Mr. Kerimov. So he's having a hard time with it right now, isn't he, Mr. Kerimov, because he's got his vessel has been taken, or his alleged vessel. He's also in trouble in the UK because he's got a situation going on with a massive house in London, which is under investigation also. And he is now he's had his trust in the US, the Heritage Trust based in Delaware, and that's been frozen as well. Now, obviously, Suleiman Kerimov is a Russian billionaire. He has various different companies. I think he has one of the things he owns is a bank, a Russian state bank. Also, he has a gold company as well. But there's a lot of comments that say that why is the government attacking private citizens and stuff like that. But in this particular case, he is not a private citizen. He is a member of the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation. So that's the upper parliament in Russia. So he's a member of their parliament. So he's not, in this particular case, a private citizen. I also have a source that tells me he's actually has a new boat that's in build right now in Europe. Now, I think I know which country it's in. I don't want to say it because I'm not sure. I can't verify it. But a European country right now is building a new boat for Mr. Kerimov. So if you have got any information on that, please get in touch through the normal methods, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. Okay, so one correction from the last video, well, not yesterday, but the last Super Yacht News video, I said that Sheikh Mansour was from Saudi Arabia, and he is, of course, from United Arab Emirates. I did actually put a pinned comment in that video after it had gone live. I should have checked it before it went live, but I didn't. So apologies for that. But obviously nobody reads those pinned comments because I had like 50 people tell me that it was wrong. Some emails as well and stuff like that. But yeah, apologies for that. He's from the United Arab Emirates, of course. On to the next story. So the Bezos Yacht that we talked about in the last story as well. I said it was in the Alblasadam location, but it is currently at this other place, which I'm going to put on screen because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Zwijndrecht, but I'm not sure. Zwijndrecht. So the boat, it's just down the river from the Alblasadam facility. So Ocean Co has two facilities in that, very close to each other. Now the mast for that yacht, because it's a sailing yacht, those masts are at the Alblasadam facility, apparently in a car park, laying in the car park, obviously not on the floor, but on some sort of unit to hold them in place. But so the stuff is separate right now. So I would imagine they'll take them down river at some point under that bridge, and then put them together, mate them together at the other end. While we're talking about Ocean Co and large yachts, that yacht, Bezos's yacht, is called Y721, and that's just the shipyard's build number. Now, Y720 is also at the Alblasadam facility being outfitted right now. Now, there has been a lot of talk online about who this yacht belongs to, and officially it hasn't been announced, but not that I'm aware of anyway. It's a 109 meter or 357 foot super yacht. It's a motor yacht, not a sailing yacht. And it's interesting design, actually. Unfortunately, I had a chap send me some photographs of this boat when he was walking his dog a couple of months ago. And I never used the photos, and I cannot for the life of me find the person's name or the photo. So if you're watching, you were out walking your dog, you took some pictures of a yacht and sent them to me. And I told you that whose boat it was at the time. But if you could send me those photographs again, I would really appreciate it. Anyway, so the owner is Stephen. You're going to need a bigger boat, Spielberg.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I made some videos in Genoa a year ago, 2 years ago, about his current boat, which is now sold, and it's called Motor Yacht 7 Seas. Now, he sold that vessel in October last year to, and the name of it changed to Man of Steel. Now, at the time, I was curious who would call a boat Man of Steel, right? Some Superman aficionado, but it turns out to be a Canadian called Barry Zelkerman, who's a steel manufacturer in Canada. So, but he made an unfortunate error. At the time, it wasn't, but now that there's wars going on and everything, you know, you see all these Russian tanks with the Z written on them. Well, his logo for that vessel is like a Superman thing, but with a Z in it for his last name, obviously. But it's unfortunate right now with everything that's going on. Another interesting fact about this is that Steven Spielberg, when he hired his entire crew from Seven Seas, and he moved them all to his new boat. And that's very unusual. Like, ordinarily, when a boat is built by an owner who's got a current boat, he hires a new crew. And sometimes he will take people across, but not the entire crew. They all left at once, had a big party in Italy, and then they left. And then I think the captain stayed because the boat was in a dry dock, and then he got the boat back in the water, and then he left also. But it was really interesting that he liked his crew, and he took the entire crew with him, even though the boat wasn't not ready to take that entire crew at the time. It was still in build in the Netherlands. But that was a great story, and obviously he appreciates his crew, which is nice to hear. So yeah, so that boat it's been on sea trials, and it's there for outfitting now, which could mean a lot of things. But the boat is out of the shipyard, and it's docked alongside, and they're finishing off getting it ready for delivery. So that's an interesting story. So we've got one last story today. This is about a boat called Motor Yacht Kahu. It's a 36 meter or 120 foot yacht. It's not a super yacht. It's a luxury yacht, let's say. And in episode 34 of Super Yacht News, I did a video about, this was September 2021. And I did a story about a boat that was found with 2,000 kilos or 2 tons of cocaine, I think it was, on board. 2,000 tons of drugs anyway. The vessel was seized by the UK authorities in the Channel Islands, I believe it was. And the vessel was seized, and all of the, everyone went to prison and all that stuff. And then at the end of that, they said that the vessel was going to be auctioned off. So the vessel was seized because it was used in crime, and the vessel was sold off, and it's just been sold now. So the auctions was done by Wilson's Auctions, which is in the UK. And interestingly, they did it online, and you had to pay £1,000 just to watch the auction, to be involved in the auction online. It was a 24-hour auction. They had bidders from all over the world. Now, what's interesting about this boat is it was built in 1979, and it was built for the New Zealand Navy, and then later on it was converted into a yacht. So some of the bidders were from New Zealand, so that was interesting. US, New Zealand, UK, and Europe were bidding on it. Anyway, the vessel sold for £473,500. So that's a good end to that story. Hopefully it will go to someone who's going to look after it now and not use it for drug running. If you bought that boat and you watch the channel, please get in touch. I would love to see. I'd love to hear more about the boat, what it's going to be used for. But yeah, if you know any information about that, or if you're the new owner, congratulations, and get in touch. It would be nice to talk to you. As usual, if you've got any information about any of the stories we talked about tonight, or any other stories that we haven't talked about, you can get in touch through the About page of YouTube. You can get me through Instagram, or you can get me on Facebook Messenger. And now you can also get me on Threema. I talked about this in the last video. It's an app. It allows you to be completely anonymous. You can call yourself Elvis Presley if you want to. You don't have to put a phone number or an email address. There's a code. I'm going to put a barcode on screen that you can scan with your app to get in touch with me. And there's also going to be a code on screen as well. So you just type that code in and you'll get through to me or someone who works for me. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. All right, guys, thanks. Bye-bye. A member of the Federation Council of the Federal. So he is a member of the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly